So this is the fourth in the series of videos on making die cut counters, and probably the last in the series as well. This is the one that no doubt you, like me, have been waiting for, where we actually get to punch the counters. I may do some other videos about how to create the counter images on the computer, but I need to figure out how to record what you're doing on the computer to allow us to do that. So for now, this is probably going to be the last of the videos, unless I come up with something particularly interesting I want to show you. So we have a set of counters mounted front and rear, mounted on card, got the alignment holes punched. You can see this is a set of replacement counters for the SPI game Sauron. What I've done here is people complain about the play balance being pro Western S, so I've added a few extra counters for the Sauron player. So you take the die, you make sure the counters go front face down on the die and align it over the alignment pins. Hold it in place, raise the press, push the pins down so they can press, slide the die under the press. Now we'll have to make several cuts, and I do it in several positions under the die, as you'll see. I typically start out on the far right hand side like this. Make sure the cutting board is out of the way of the arm so that it doesn't interfere, and then off we go. Quite a firm resistance to the first cut as the blades go in, and then it gets less resistance. I'll do it about half a dozen times in this position to get the cut I want. I then slide it forwards as far as the counters will allow me to, which isn't that far, while I've got a double template width of, sorry, a double die width of counters there, and do another 3 cuts. Where you position it, the number of cuts you have to make will be a matter of trial and error with your own personal setup. Then I turn the die around, slide it under, put it on the far left hand side, again make sure the cutting board is clear of the arm, and then another half dozen in this position. Then slide it forwards as far as the counters will permit, and another 3. Then I typically slide it out about 3/4 of an inch, give it another 3 cuts, and then slide it out the back of the press about 3/4 of an inch, and another 3. Now that typically gives me a cut all the way through to the back of the counters. Not always the case. You need to inspect what you've got and make a view as to whether you need to do any more cuts. So, just looking at these, yeah, I think that's a pretty comprehensive cut. Now, I'll try and show you at the back. You're looking for a definite line all the way across, which we've just about got on those. While we're here, you can see just what an excellent job the alignment tool does of these are the rears of the counters, and you can see they're nicely centered on the cut. Just lift this off, show you the front, And again, hopefully you can see a nice well-defined cut with the counters centered. Okay, just for completeness, that's the process done, but just for completeness I'll do the other side. So again, make sure you've got it face down, front face down onto the die. Slide it underneath. Bit of clearance, firm resistance to the first few cups, half a dozen cups. Slide it forwards or across, another 3. Slide it out, swing it round. Another half dozen cups in this position. Slide it forwards. What you'll find as well is positioning like this, you can actually get a full A4 sheet cut. You'll need to do each of the 4 quadrants of the A4 sheet independently, so we're just doing 2 quadrants of an A4 sheet effectively here. It's in fact half an A4 sheet. So let's have a look at what we've got. Yeah, and I'm happy again with those. So there we go, that's the reverse. Lift it off, and there's the fronts. Okay, now a couple of issues I've had with my die just to tell you about. Initially I was finding that some of the counters were sticking inside the between the blades. The rubber wasn't ejecting them properly, so as you took the counter frame off, counters were being held in place and it was punching the counters as I was trying to remove it. Spoke to Atlas, the manufacturer. They said send it back, we'll fit some new rubber free of charge, which they've done. This red rubber is a firmer rubber than the outer grey, which was the original, and that worked much better. No problems with ejecting. I was finding, however, that the outside edges of the blades of the die were cutting fine, but the inner ones sometimes weren't going quite deep enough. Now, part of the solution to that is repositioning the die, doing multiple cuts in each location, as you've seen. Atlas did say send it back to us again and we'll just make sure that the blades are flat. They did that test and they said they're actually fine, but they suggested what I might do is put some paper or tape over the areas that weren't cutting as well. And you can see here I've put insulation tape on here, and that seems to have helped. It's just applying a little bit of extra pressure in those areas that are a bit more resistant to cutting. I think the issue is that these are a 1/2 inch die, so there's a lot of surface area. It's a bit like the bed of nails effect. I'm having a 5/8 die made and also a 1/2 inch by 1 inch to do things like ships and phalanxes for games. Having those made, there'll be less blades in those. I don't anticipate the same problems there. Who knows, perhaps I'll do a video just showing you those dies as well when I get them. Okay, Well, that's it. The last in the series of 4 videos. I hope you found it informative and helpful. As I've said before, I'm a complete novice to this, so there's no guarantee that what I show you is the best way of doing things. And as I've gone through making the videos, people have commented and made suggestions for how things could be improved. So please read the comments, please make comments, please subscribe, and who knows, may see you in another video in a week or two. Thanks very much.